What's going on YouTube? We're back here with another video, man, and in this video I want to talk about how you could clear Febian, Phobie or Nightmare a lot more easier. I know I'm 29, so I am a bit more higher, but I was able to do it at 23 or whenever you lock it straight away. It's just that when I made the video and uploaded it, the likes and dislikes ratio was terrible, so it made me feel like I did a really bad video. So I kind of wanted to retake it and probably be a bit more informative on how you could defeat this boss. I'm probably also gonna have a second screen showing me completing this boss as well. So first thing I want to get into are the characters. And look, when it comes to DPS characters, we're gonna go over the DPS characters real quick. You could bring anyone. You could bring one DPS unit if you want, or you could bring two DPS units you want, but you don't really need a specific DPS unit as long as they're built out, you know, and they have good gear on them. As you can see with my Lian, I've got 12 on everything, onslaught straight. With my boy the Ting, 12 here, but 15 on these sides. So when it comes to my DPS characters, I tend to go a bit more extra when it comes to their gear, because you need them to get as much stats as they can to do damage, you know. My support units are 9s, 12s, as you can see here, mostly 9s, mostly everything here is 9, you know. So yeah, you don't really need to go too crazy on your support units or your healer units. I would say mostly invest into your DPS units when it comes to modules. But yeah, DPS characters, you could bring near enough anyone, okay? Just make sure they're leveled out, they've got a decent shell on them, level 20 to 30 I would say. Make sure you got the prowess leveled up as well, and obviously starred up and modules on a really good level. Now support units are the characters I really wanted to talk about, because support units are going to make everything in this game a lot more easier, and it's going to make this fight a lot more easier. And the specific ones I use are Lily and Klaus, but I know not everyone's going to have them, so alternatives that I could give you is Marvel, Shiaki the Echo, and Freya, okay? And even if you just have one of those 5 that I just named, that's good enough, trust me, okay? And the reason why those 5 characters are good is because they could boost your damage, but they could also manipulate the turn meter. That's what makes them so good. So Marvel could push everyone back, so that's going to allow your DPS characters to take more actions, and it's going to allow your team to not get hit as much, you know. So your healer doesn't have to do too much of a job. So that's why turn manipulation character, trust me, are the key in PvE, bro. It's just going to help you clear everything so much more easier. And this is why I chose Klaus as my selector, you know, because she debuffs like crazy, speed down, defense down, hacking progress, hacking. She just does craziness, but she also has the pushback as well on her second skill. So that's why Klaus is just amazing with it, and I think she's one of the fastest. Okay, let me not say that. I know she's just insanely fast though. She has an insane base speed stats, so there's that. So yeah, when it comes to support units, if you could bring a debuffer, that's really good, because they won't, because this fight they're able to still buff, so bringing a debuffer might just be better. And as I said, if you have characters that have turn manipulations, bring them as well, or instead, because they're just gonna make the fight a lot more easier. So yeah, support characters are definitely key in this game for sure. If healers, you could bring, you know, anyone, bro. Like I don't even have my healers built out that crazy, you know. Everything's what, 6 here, 1 on 9. You know, you could bring Ling Lo, you could bring Sanya, same with her, not really built out either. You could probably bring Red Shiaki, you could definitely bring a Valerian as well, that will work in this fight too. So when it comes to characters, that's it, you know. Make sure your DPS characters are built out, got good prowess, got good modules, high on shells. Support characters, if you could bring buffers, debuffers that also have turn manipulations, amazing. But if they only do one thing, if that one thing's turn manipulation, that's fine enough, you know, because I know Marvel just does turn manipulation, but that's good enough, you know. And you know, Chiaki the Echo, she's gonna push you forward and give you attack, you know. And they're 2 SR units, so hopefully you guys have them. I don't even have Marvel myself, and I've done 300 summons on my free-to-play account, so I know it's not easy, but you should at least have one of those 5, hopefully. Now when it comes to team comps, the one I used first when I first cleared it at level 23, 24 was Lian, the Ting, Klaus, and Sanya. So you could definitely go the 2 DPS route. You don't have to use those 2 DPS characters. You could use any 2 DPS characters that you want. As long as they're built out and going to be able to output good damage, you're going to be fine. And I ran a debuffer. I think Klaus is just so good because she debuffs and do the turn manipulation. But you could, you know, put a Freya hair instead. You could put a Chiaki the Echo in hair instead, you know, or you could put in a Marvel hair instead. Then I ran a healer, Sanya. As I said before, you could use many other healers, but yeah, that's one team comp you could definitely use. Another one is the 1 DPS that I'm doing right now, I'm running the Ting alone with Lily, with Kloss, and with Sania. So yeah, you could run something similar to that if you've got a DPS that just outputs crazy amounts of damage. But when I do the Ting alone, I go straight for the boss, so I don't touch the chest pieces or anything. I go straight for the boss, you know. And someone like Lily, hey, if you guys have Lily, man, make sure you guys are just using her right with the DPS characters, because she's gonna make them do insane amounts of more damage. But that's definitely a team comp you could run, a DPS unit with a buffer, debuffer, and a healer. So if you don't have a Lily, you could run Chiaki the Echo in this slot. You could run Marvel in this slot. I know he don't buff, but you could run Marvel and Kloss if you was to have them. You could run Freya in this. You know, anyone that could buff, that's gonna be real nice. So if you want to go for the 1 DPS team comp, you can. The other one I could give you is definitely 2 DPS units. You know, 2 DPS units with a buffer and a debuffer. So yeah, whatever 2 DPS characters you have, there may be like a Freya and Kloss, which would be, you know, the most perfect one. Or you could run 2 DPS units with Chiaki the Echo and Marvel, or one and the other. You know, mix and match with Kloss, Lily. Kloss, Lily, Freya, Marvel, Chiaki the Echo. You could probably bring other characters like a Mio as well, because she has turn meter pushback and she has CC, so she could, you know, freeze the chests pieces. Dinah obviously could make you do a lot more damage as well because of the amount of debuffs she could do, so you could run her too. But the other ones I feel like are just a bit more popular and a lot more people might have, you know, because of how good they are. So that's the reason why I'm naming those ones. But yeah, team comps, those are the ones you could do. So we went over, you know, modules, the ones that I use on my DPS characters, and that they should be leveled up, of course, you know, your DPS characters as much as you can. And we went through the support units. As I said, the support units are going to be the ones that are going to make life a lot more easier in games. And you know, we also went through the healers, which, you know, you don't, as you saw, you know, with my supports and healers, you don't have to invest too much into them, just mostly in your DPS units, and you guys will be fine. Like, look bro, I 2 started with the Ting, you know, just as the DPS. But you know, if you're ever struggling, you could always look at stuff like this. You know, try to find someone that's close to your level, see what characters, team comp they use. Obviously, you know, you might not have certain characters, you might not have them starred up, you know, but you know, you just have to get to work and see what you have and just mix and match with that. But yeah, I hope this video was a lot more better than the other one I released, and this one, you know, just was a bit more informative and helped you a lot more to understand how to, you know, beat hard content that you're probably not being able to beat, even though you're at the level to do it. And yeah, hopefully it helps you defeat this boss a lot more easy. I'm gonna do this for other bosses and stuff, but yeah, hope y'all enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, run up. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.